All right, it is 3 p.m. here in Izmir, Turkey. We're on the southwestern coast of Turkey. And if any of you have joined my other tours from Turkey, you'll know that in Kalikoy, in Istanbul, I started at the Bosphorus, which is the water channel behind that divides Europe from Asia. And if you were with me at Mersin, you had the Mediterranean Sea behind me. I'm going to try and speak up. Hopefully you can hear me a little better then. And here behind me is the Aegean Sea. So in fact, in the distance, you have the Aegean Islands as well. All right, thank you very much, Dee. I apologize, it's very windy here, but hopefully when we start to move, it will get a little better because we'll be away from the coast. Now, I do a little bit of a 360 of the place where I am standing, so let's try and do that. You can see we've got some people, some street vendors here that are selling stuff by the sea. The sea's a little bit rough because of the wind. That is the ferry station there. You can see a ferry part. There are ferries that operate from here to different parts of the city of Izmir, which is the third largest city in Turkey. It has approximately 3 million people in population. So after Istanbul, Ankara comes Izmir. And that's a little sculpture of a skeleton of a boat because the sea, of course, is very, very important for this city. So thank you all for joining me. Let's carry on. And there you see my wife there in the black leather jacket. She's trailing me. Okay, so let's continue with our tour. Hopefully it will get better the audio. So what are we going to do? Well, we are going to see Konak Square and the clock tower there. There are some other historic buildings there as well. And over there we will see a historic mosque and some other buildings. And from there, we'll head into a nearby bazaar, which is in fact the largest or the most prominent bazaar of this city. So through these trees, you might be able to see Konak Square and the clock tower, the historic clock tower. Let me zoom in a little. You see the tram running. This is a city of trams as well. There is also a metro system. So you can now see the clock tower, and on its left, you can see a mosque, as well as behind the clock tower, you will see a building which is the civic government buildings or the government office buildings. These are 3 historic buildings. I'm glad the sound is better. As we move further away from the sea, it should get even better with the wind being less of an issue. So the trams that are running here, let's carry on. And hopefully I won't need to scream as well when the wind dies down a little bit. The temperature is 11 degrees Celsius over here at this point in time, but you can see it's a nice, bright, sunny day. However, do note that people are dressed for cold weather because the wind chill factor is there and it is quite chilly. So here we are. Many of them are pigeons. I've seen a few sparrows running around, flying around as well, and of course, large crows. You'll see a lot of pigeons as we get to Konak Square, and I'll tell you about that as well. So you can see down here on the left of your screen, those are pigeons. Now, let me just show you a few things, some background information. You can see this is Turkey and its location. We are located in Izmir in the southwestern coast of Turkey. And those of you who have joined me on my previous tours, I've circled Istanbul, Mersin, and Izmir. Istanbul, of course, the commercial capital, the city that most people are familiar with. Mersin, where we took the ferry across to Cyprus, and that was quite an experience. But we had to cut our trip short a little bit, and that's why I've been a little bit quiet on Hago. But I'm back now. And then there's Izmir, which is on the southwestern coast, the Aegean Sea. So you can see the sun, bright sunny day. Lori, I have been here now for almost a month, give or take, another few weeks to go. I expect to do a few more tours from Istanbul when we get back, and maybe another one from a city that is not far from here in Izmir province called Çeşme. So you can see the simit sellers. Simit, of course, the Turkish, traditional Turkish bread. And so it's kind of like a local pretzel, you can say. And the local sandwiches, local bread. It is a beautiful day, Lisa. So once again, for those of you who have just joined me, my name is Imran, and welcome to my channel. I am here in Izmir, Turkey, on the southwestern coast of Turkey. It's a new experience for me, so please bear with me. I did do some basic research, but any information that you Voyagers can share will be helpful. So this is Konak Square, and it is named after Konak, which means mansion, because this is where the government offices and the governor's mansion used to be. So the clock tower, historic clock tower, built in 1901 to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the Sultan at the time, the Ottoman Sultan, Sultan Abdul Hamid, who happens to be a great reformer, but also was quite a dictatorial type in his time as well. Polly, you ask about fillings to the bread. Yes, they have all types. So the simits that you saw generally will not have fillings, but some of the other round buns that you saw, they will have fillings inside them. Hopefully the sound is better because I'm not feeling my hair. And yes, at this age, I'm happy to have hair. So it's not blowing around a lot. Let me give you a vertical shot from here of this clock tower. And perhaps I'll zoom in a little. And you can see all the activity around the clock tower with people feeding the pigeons, lots of people just hanging about, lazing, because it is a perfect day. So I'm going to go back to horizontal in 3, 1, 2, 3. And let's continue. Now, Izmir, which was also known as Smyrna by the Greeks, is an ancient city, and the recorded history spans back to 8,000 years. You just give you a little idea of what's going on in the square. Now, for your information, and most of you are probably aware, this is the holy month of Ramadan for Muslims, and Muslims do fast or are, according to the religion, supposed to fast from sun up till sundown, no food or drink. Uh, and Turkey, of course, is a primarily a Muslim country, but you can see that it is quite open in serving food and drinks even during the holy month. Annie, you're absolutely right. This was called Smyrna, and to the Greeks, some of them, they still refer to it as Smyrna. And the history of the city is quite amazing. I'll give you a whoops. There we go. There's a child running around with playing with the pigeons. So someone was asking D, I believe, about the birds. Well, you can see they're all pigeons, right? So lots and lots of pigeons. In fact, in Turkey, there's quite a tradition of taking care of animals. So you will see lots of cats, lots of dogs, and many of them are even attended to by a city vet. The city has a vet that deals with with the animal population, the wild or stray animal population of that particular city. So I'm gonna give you another vertical of the clock tower from here in three, one, two, three. And remember, this was built in 1901. 1901, and the clock, you can see, still works. It's 3:10 here in Izmir, Turkey. Now, I was talking about the month of Ramadan. Let me go back to horizontal though in one, two, three. So in Turkey, the fast is from, or in Izmir, I checked this morning, it is approximately 5:30 a.m. that it starts, which is sun up, and it ends at approximately 7:30 p.m., which is when sundown takes place. So between those hours, 14 hours, and I was talking about pets, dogs, you can see it's a nice big dog over there. Note on his right ear, there's a little tag. That will be the tag that is put in place by the city to show that he has been or she has been attended to and probably had all his or her shots and is regularly checked up. So I'm just giving you a close up of some of the work on the tower. And now, originally, the tap would have provided water for anyone who needed it. It was a public water tap. So during those 14 hours that I was talking about, from 5:30 in the morning till 7:30 p.m., no food or drink for the faithful. That means nothing should pass their lips through, no food, no water. It's a time of reflection, a time when Muslims are supposed to also understand the meaning of sacrifice and do a little bit of introspection. I'm sorry, I see a question. The sunlight is not very nice. I wonder if you could just type it out on the white without the question mark. It's difficult for me to read. So this is a historic Konak Jami or Konak Mosque. Let me give you a vertical so you can get the full minaret in 1, 2, 3. Historic mosque from the 1700s. It's of course been restored many times. Okay, what is the official name of the tower? It's known as Konak Tower here, and this is known as Konak Medani or Konak Square. So I hope that answers your question. And Tariq, you ask about, I'm going to go back to horizontal in 1, 2, 3. Tariq, you ask about diabetics eating if blood sugar is low. Of course, there are concessions that are made for people who are not medically able to fast. And that means that if you are not physically or medically able to fast, that you are exempted. However, the tradition or the Orthodox Islamic law suggests that if you cannot fast, that you pay or you give food to open other people's fasts at iftar time, which is in the evening when the fast opens. Now, if you are ill during the month of Ramadan and you cannot fast, but it's a temporary illness, then you are able to make up those fasts at a later period of time. So this is the Konak Mosque, and you can see from the write-up that it was built by a lady, Aisha Hanim, in 1748, and of course it's been restored several times. I'm going to take you a little bit closer and show you some of the blue tile work. And so, are we doing okay, Voyagers? Wonderful. So you can see some of the tile work. It's really quite beautiful. D, what is Izmir known for past and present? That's a wonderful question. Well, we know that Izmir has been historically a very, very significant port and trading. In fact, Izmir has been a major hub for the Greeks that were part of the Ottoman Empire, as well as the Jews and the Armenians. And by 1919, which is about the end of the Second World War, the Greeks outnumbered the Turks over here. And the Jews and the Greeks and the Armenians and other minorities combined outnumbered the Turks as well. However, after the Second World War, now this building that I'm showing you, I'll just come back to what I was saying, is are the government offices for the governorate. This was a governorate during the Ottoman times, and today it's a province. So by 1919, the Greeks outnumbered the Turks, and as some of you are probably aware, the Ottoman Turks joined forces with the Germans during the First World War. They were defeated by the Allied powers, and the Ottoman Empire was literally carved up and divided among different European powers. If you joined me for my Mersin tour, if I remember correctly, that was handed over to the French. Izmir, which at the time was known as Smyrna, was handed over to the Greeks, the Kingdom of Greece. And in 1919, the Greek army landed in Izmir and essentially tried to take control. Now, you may remember that man that I talked about, Ataturk, Mustafa Kemal, the founder of modern Republican Turkey. Well, he was a general at the time, and he was trying to get rid of all of these foreign powers and invaders during after the First World War. And we have the Greco-Turkish War, which resulted in the defeat of the Greeks from this area by 1923. So by 1923, the Greeks had been expelled from this area, and the Turks had resumed control. Now, there was what we call, or what is historically referred to as, a population exchange between Greece and Turkey in 1923. And that was essentially when the Greek and Turkish governments exchanged populations, and the Greeks repatriated the Greeks that were living in what were then the Turkish lands, and all the Turks that were living in Greek lands, they were repatriated back to Turkey. So as a result of that, we saw this part of Turkey and also other parts of Turkey really hollow out from the non-Turkish population. That was a long story, but I think it's important to mention, and I hope you got most of that. So let me give you a vertical from here as well, because we do have some nice shots from here. So in 3, 1, 2, 3. And ladies, gentlemen, thank you very much for the tips. I'm sorry I did not individually acknowledge them, but thank you very much. As you know, tips are very, very helpful, and they do allow us to push through new content on Hago. So again, thank you very much. I'm going to go back to horizontal in 1, 2, 3. And you've got a reasonably nice shot framed with the palm trees. So, Maggie, this is very much known as the city center of Izmir. All right, so we've seen the 3 things so far. We've seen the clock tower. We've seen the this mosque, the Konak Jami. And we have seen the government buildings. And this area was the location for a significant military barracks. And I have put up a photograph that shows Konak Square in 1865. You can see from that photograph that the port and sea trade was very important even all the way back in 1865. And that also speaks to the Greek and the Jewish and Armenian communities that made their home here. The Ottomans originally took over Izmir or Smyrna way back in the 1400s, and the Jewish community came here in large numbers, particularly from Spain, after 1492, when they started to be persecuted in Spain by the ruling clique or elite at the time. So many of the Jews, they found their way over here and sought refuge underneath the Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Empire were very happy to receive them because they became a powerhouse of traders for the Ottomans. And they brought with them not just their capital, but their trading links. So we are now heading slowly into the bazaar. And there is this shop here. You can see in front of you, this one here, Tokpa. I'm going to try and take you inside. If the people object, then of course I will leave because they do have some nice traditional stuff. Hopefully, they will not make a fuss about what about live streaming. So let's show you a little bit from the outside before I go in. But please bear with me because in case they ask me to leave, I will have to do that. All right? Now, the Turkish lira is the local currency, you can see there. And it is approximately 20 Turkish lira to 1 euro, as well as almost the same, just under 20 Turkish lira for $1. They do like their sweets in Turkey, and we will come across more sweet shops as well. So, and thank you very much, all of you who have joined me on this tour. Uh, my name is Imran, and we are here in the friendly southwestern coastal city of Izmir in Turkey. You can see some of the lokum or Turkish delights. Rose is my favorite. Marhaba, Annie. That's how you say it. D, you ask AD. I haven't seen AD, but it could be per piece because adat is per piece. And you can notice the pistachios inside there. Maggie, I leave for Chashme in a couple of days. As I said, I had to cut my trip short a little bit because of some unexpected family emergencies. So I haven't had the amount of time that I would have liked. But so I only have 2 days in Chashme. I'm not sure I will be able to live stream because I want to be able to take the ferry across to Chios Island as well. So if it comes about, it'll be at short notice in after the 31st, on the maybe the 1st or the 2nd. So, again, those of you who have been leaving me a tip, Polly, everyone else, thank you so much. Nuts. One of the things that I pamper myself with when I am in Turkey are the nuts. They are really very, very delicious, fresh nuts. Lesbos, Annie, no, I am not planning on that. I don't have the time. The dates as well. I don't have the time to do that, but already my mind is working for another trip in a couple of years. And then if things work out, who knows, maybe what we'll do is, and I have to, of course, convince my wife about this, is come here, take the ferry to Chios, and then maybe take the ferry all the way across to Greece. Alsanak, no. Sally, maybe you can tell us a little bit about that. I'm not so familiar with it. some tea, fresh teas as well. And the other thing that I really enjoy in and pamper myself with in Turkey is the fresh honey. They have wonderful fresh honey here in Turkey. Sally, I'll have to look it up, because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you a little bit further, deeper into the bazaar from here. All right, and maybe we'll carry on from here. Well, that was nice. They were very gracious about letting me live stream from there. In fact, you may have seen some of the staff were very, very friendly as well. So, Annie, yes, I do live in Singapore. Uh, and I do live stream quite a lot from Singapore as well. So please do join me on some of my Singapore tours. Those of you who, of course, associate Turkey with the donors and the traditional meat. Here we go. Shish kebab. Marhaba. Someone was asking about what it means. Thank you. Yeah, be careful with the knife, right? Big knife. Thank you. Okay, here we go. Thank you. Thank you. So let's see if we can, whoops, turn it. Very nice.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So you can see how friendly the people are here. You have to be prepared for all sorts of things. If there are any, yes, that was lamb. If there are any vegetarians there, there's a lot of salads and a lot of fresh stuff here, but it's difficult to avoid the meat as well. And that was really, really nice, tender meat. Thank you, Beta. Those are some of the few words of Turkish that I have picked up. Very, very few words. So we're now in the bazaar. I'm going to pick up the pace a little bit, because I will want to take you to one or two other shops that I scouted out earlier today. And so I do want to remind everyone, my name is Imran, and we are walking around Izmir, Turkey, southwestern coastal city of Izmir. And please, if you're enjoying this, please do follow me, follow my channel, stay tuned for more. Hopefully, I will be doing at least one or two tours from Istanbul when I get back there. I will do a repeat of my Kadikoy tour, and also a walkabout the Spice Bazaar, as well as one down Taksim and end by the Galata Tower. So here we are, continuing through the bazaar. Gold. Thank you very much, Lori, for that. You can see people are very friendly. They are enjoying being live streamed around the world. Gold. This design here, I'm not sure if you can see it, very traditional Ottoman seal. The blue, yes, the evil eye, to ward off the evil eye. And we see that everywhere, more so in Istanbul than here in Izmir. I have not seen it as much in Izmir as in Istanbul. But of course, it's everywhere in Turkey, having said that. So, welcome everyone. This is Imran here, walking you around the Karamalti Bazaar in Izmir. And for the spelling of that, I will show you a sign. And I hope that I pronounced it properly. One of the things about Turkey is, of course, the language. Turks are very particular about their own language, and while many of the younger generation do speak English, it's a good idea to have a phone with Google Translate nearby because it comes in very, very handy. So, I was telling you about the name Karamalti Bazaar. There we have it, Karamalti. Yes, this is a pedestrian. It seems to be a pedestrian street, but I have almost been run over by a car once, about an hour or so ago. So, not fully pedestrianized. So, are we enjoying the tour so far? This is something great, great. In Turkey, you find a lot of these knockoff perfume stores. They're everywhere. So if you want to buy any perfume, CK1, Gucci, Armani, any of those brand names, and you're not willing to pay the price of the original, you can come and buy the knockoff over here. D. Evet. That's how they say yes. And here's some, as I said, Turks love their sweets. Here's some more of their sweets. Yeah, I'm getting a bit hungry. I had an early breakfast, and we rushed down, and I did a little bit of a recce before the tour because I've only spent a day here before today. And so I wanted to just do at least a basic checkup on the place. So it is probably going to be time to eat again immediately after this tour. Lori, I am not exactly familiar with the answer to that. What I can see these days, presently, is I don't hear a lot of foreign languages. I hear mostly Turkish. However, I don't know what high season will be like because I know that Izmir is popular with expats and people who come and foreigners who come and buy property around here as a holiday home. Beta, you're absolutely right. I'm not sure I would say that they don't care much about it, but it's very much a live and let live type of society. So, depending on your own preference and your own religiosity, people really leave you to do your thing. However, there are places around where I was in Istanbul, but where in Kadikoy, where many of the smaller eateries were shut during the day. Simply, I suppose, I speculate, because the individuals who were doing the cooking, etc., who the proprietors, they were fasting and they didn't want to open their restaurants during Ramadan. So I think it's very much a live and let live culture and society. People are free to do their own things, but cafes, restaurants, etc., very much open all over different parts of Turkey. I was here in Ramzan 2 years ago, pre-pandemic, 3 years ago, 2018, and even in many of the other smaller towns, cities, Trabzon, Ari, Erzurum, etc. It's very much an open society and different from many other parts of the Islamic world. To some extent, I could say that that is a legacy of Ataturk and his staunch secularization program, which he implemented when he transformed Turkey into a republic in 1923, exactly 100 years ago. So 100 years ago, today is when the republic was created. It was created as a secular republic. Many things which we would consider to be quite radical today were implemented quite strongly by Ataturk. He could get away with it because of his stature as a military hero and a general who saved Turkey from these foreign forces. Simple things like banning Islamic dress, the headgear, giving women equal rights. We're going back to 1923 in a very conservative Islamic society. And even for example, banning the fez. There was even an outcry over the fez being banned. For some years, the Islamic call to prayer was converted from its traditional Arabic call to prayer into a Turkish call to prayer. So we have some traditional juice sellers very keen to promote their juice. The juices, the fruits in Turkey are wonderful. So if you are in Turkey, fresh fruit is one of the things to do, to have. So even the call to prayer was transformed into Turkish for several years. And these are really very, very radical measures that were undertaken to try and secularize the republic. We've seen a little bit of rollback of that in the last 20 years with the ruling party having mild Islamic leanings, but societies transform, evolve over time, and so we'll see what the future holds. Now here we have enough of that political dialogue and monologue from me, but some more nice souvenir type stuff, and we'll see if we can go inside and show you some of the handicraft type work that is on display here. Any backgammon players out there? Well, backgammon sets and backgammon. In fact, I'll tell you an interesting story about myself. I've been playing backgammon almost all my life. And at one point, I started to play backgammon online. And I started playing backgammon with someone here in Istanbul. And, while we started to play, we started to chat. And now that lady who runs a hotel in Istanbul, a guest house, she has become one of our closest friends here in Turkey. And it's all because backgammon brought us together. Wonderful. And someone mentioned the blue eye earlier to ward off the evil eye. Earlier on in the beginning, there was someone, I think it was Mr. Aziz, who was from Islamabad. I'm not sure if he's still there, but in Urdu, we call the evil eye Nazar. Nazar na lag jaye, to ward off the evil eye, which ironically is quite something that is not really Islamic in tradition. It's something that is probably frowned upon by Orthodox Islamic believers. Some beautiful, beautiful pieces. Good question about how much. Well, we have some prices that are listed on the things. And let me just zoom in on some of these plates where I can see some of the prices. So you can see here this 250 lira. So that would make it at perhaps just above maybe 22 US, 22 euros. And then here, 9 euros. The lamps, good question. Well, let's look at, I see one price tag here on this one, 1,500 lira, right? So 1,500 divided by 20, that would be what? 65, somewhere around there perhaps. But before I go, let me just, the Turkish chai glasses. So let me just say hello to the gentleman whose shop this is and who has kindly agreed to. So thank you very much, sir. This is the gentleman whose shop it is, all these beautiful things. So if you're in Izmir, he's right next to the tourist office, and he has kindly agreed to let me show you some of these things. So thank you. Bye-bye. So let us come out. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is Izmir for you. Hopefully, you enjoyed that tour, that walkabout. We've seen the Konak Square, which is the clock tower. We saw the old historic mosque next to it from the early 1700s. The clock tower itself was from 1901. We then saw the government houses behind it, and there was a government mansion at that square. Konak means mansion, and that is where the name of the area comes from. Don't forget, we started with all that interference from the wind. Remember how I was trying to cover up the wind and also trying to stop that interference? Well, we started at the Aegean Sea, and that is uh, where you can go and even go towards the Greek islands, the Aegean islands, because we're that close to the Greek Aegean islands. And of course, you've seen a little bit of the bazaar. The shopkeepers at a couple of shops have been very gracious and nice to allow us to stream from there as well. So I want to thank all of you for joining me here in Izmir. Please follow my channel because I do expect to do a few more tours while I am for that. Once again, thank you very much and have a great day wherever you are, and see you all soon. And again, thank you all for the tips. And if you have been unable to tip, perhaps you can write something on the Facebook page or something like that. Anything. But either way, I hope you enjoyed the tour, and I will see you soon. All right. Bye bye. And let me just bring my wife into it as well. All right. So bye. See you soon.